Hello, beloved Earthbound Fam. Welcome in or welcome back to this Aware of the Ancients perfectly imperfect vloggity podcasty thingy. On this channel, I invite you to explore my more abstract and obscure interpretations of astrological events. In this video, I'll be talking about the lunar eclipse blood moon and why it has such an interesting parallel to the Virgo season. My interpretations may not resonate with everyone who reads them or hears them, so as you continue reading or listening, if you find yourself in a state of judgment with opinions flying out right and left, then this message may not be meant for you. So please feel free to leave it behind. Otherwise, let's go diving. On September 7th, 2025, Mama Moon found fullness in the perfect center of the House of Pisces in conjunction with North Node, sitting in opposition with Father Sun, Mercury, and the South Node, who are all in conjunction in the House of Virgo. Back on August 23rd, when Moon was coming through her Black Moon, New Moon phase in the first degrees of Virgo's house, she was conjunct Father Sun and the South Node. Together, their celestial powers pushed us onto the front porch of a whole new paradigm in the House of Virgo, a paradigm platform that some people may not have even noticed we were being shoved onto as we entered Virgo territory. Now, Mama Moon's reflective fullness is providing a macrocosmic light, so to speak, as she passes through the center of Mama Gaia and Father Sun, which is spotlighting the differences in what we want to see and what we need to see to pass through the 999 portal in our fullest capacity when it comes to our authenticity. The 999 portal begins on September 9th, 2025 and ends on September 18th, 2025. It is 9 days long. This portal is the universe's deliverance, moving from or graduating from an adolescent phase known as the maiden phase of a human life and maturing into the mother phase. This happens in one or all four of our bodies: the physical, mental, emotional, and or spiritual. And it is gender neutral, regardless of the feminine context. Since we are in this year of 9, this graduation goes much further than just a yearly transit into another phase. The year of 9 takes us into an era of completion that is delivering the full culmination of the past Piscean age, wrapping up the last earthly epoch and setting us on course for the next leg of Gaia's journey into the Age of Aquarius. It's such an interesting coincidence, if you believe in those, that this Virgo full moon is bringing us a blood moon. The practical astronomy of the red color during a blood full moon is due to Mama Moon passing through the shadow of Mama Gaia and Father Sun, which blocks out the sun's light and captures the low light wavelengths, which are red, reflecting off the moon's surface, creating a red or blood-like appearance to us here on Earth plane. But let's get deeper into my abstract thoughts about the ancient significance of this particular blood moon in Virgo season, shall we? Come along, if you're up for the ride. Most of September's days are in the season of Virgo, symbolized by the Virgin in the zodiac. Virgins are perceived as young humans who are just being initiated into puberty. Females get their periods, and boys get their sex drive, creating a teenage prowess of hormonal uprising and curiosity, leading to the inevitability of sexual experimentation. Way back in the day of the ancients and times erased from history books, this sexual experimentation was interpreted as integration, which would result in creation. There wasn't an age requirement for this to take place, nor was this abused or used as a control mechanism over fellow humans. It simply followed the laws of nature. Virgo, the Virgin, is all about exploring the physical union with others. It is where we are literally seeded to come together to create life on Earth plane, but not necessarily within the confines of what we've decided love should look like. That was another manipulation of what our Father, Mother, God intended love to be. A man-made concept of one man plus one woman equals love, which has caused so much strife, stress, and separation in our world. Virgo is associated with the throat chakra, spiritually speaking, but physically, Virgo rules the body's digestive system, namely the stomach, pancreas, spleen, and large intestine, which is where the sacral chakra meets the solar plexus chakra and creates the movement of the sacred sphere within the physical body. The sacred sphere is where our innate female-male sexual energies begin to intertwine with our willpower, or free will impulses, and we begin to decide what it is we are attracted to in other humans. Blood plays a major role in this endocrinic recognition, and these adolescent hormone shifts begin to kick in at the time of puberty. At this time of human development, adolescents around the ages of 13 to 14 enter what was called the reign of blood in ancient teachings. Females bleed and release of the embryonic egg, resulting in menstruation, to remove the embryo from the body. What is not well understood, though, is that males also bleed from their sacred sphere, but their bleeding is in the form of the release of semen, aka ejaculation. Both of these forms of bleeding are due to the endocrine and metabolic expansion in our innate life force energy, syncing up with the cycles of Mama Moon's transits. Our bodies literally purge out the life force that has served its purpose and is no longer needed. Way back in the day of the ancients, the Virgo season aligned to the mating season for many humans. The winter months offered darkness, solace, and stillness for a mother-to-be and her growing embryo to become a healthy fetus, following the natural pattern of plant seeds who need darkness, solace, and stillness for the gestation period to thrive in becoming a sprout. As the spring months blossomed, so too did the fetus grow within the mother. And when spring was in full force, come the month of May, with blooms of fresh life breaking ground, so too were the human babies birthed into being. One more little tidbit of Virgo season that has been buried in the sands of time is that this was when the preparations for the Mabon celebration were put into motion. Mabon begins in alignment with the Libra season around September 21st to the 23rd, and Libra is the season of the balance of life. Way back in the day of the ancients, the idea of the balance of life was integral to the health of a community. This required sacrifices to be made, blood sacrifices, utilizing animals, but there were also human sacrifices that were made back then. In today's modern world, there's actually a music festival that mimics this blood sacrifice called the Burning Man. The Burning Man is actually a very ancient ritual. Many ancient cultures would spend the Virgo season building a wicker or wooden cage-like statue in the form of a human. This human figure would serve as the sacrificial vessel for the human sacrifices that would take place when Mabon celebrations took place. Each ancient community's leader would decide who would be placed into the Burning Man. This was considered an honor, and many people would volunteer in this honorable offering to the gods, especially the very sick, old, or unable. Their self-sacrifice to Mother Earth and to Father Sky was in gratitude for their gifts of the animals and crops harvested, as well as for the next growing season's hopeful fruition. To the ancients, it meant that your soul would leave a physical body that no longer served its purpose, but the spirit of those sacrificed would live on through the nourishment of the land and therefore the nourishment of the remaining community, bringing equilibrium to the balance of life without waste or want. The blood moon eclipse of 2025 at this time of September's Virgo season is right on time, friends, and it's truly much more sacred than it is perceived to be in our modern world, in association to our human bodies, as well as our relationship to and with Mama Gaia herself. As Mama Moon eclipsed Father Sun in the shadow of Mama Gaia, our celestial parents, beckoned us to let them escort us into this next very turbulent state of what will appear to be chaos. Because, well, it is. In tarot, there is a card that represents this time of life very well, and that card is called the Tower card. The Tower card shows up when, or to forecast, a possible time in one's life where just about everything seems to be falling apart. But if one can roll with the punches and ride through this idea of what is falling apart, one can soon recognize that the falling apart was actually a clearing out of our four-body turbulence, creating room so that everything needed for a healthy passage into the next life chapter could fall into place in perfect divine timing. The September 7th lunar eclipse opened up the runway to the solar eclipse that will coincide with the next new moon on September 21st, which is a rarish new moon because it's the second new moon in the Virgo season. The September eclipses are stargates that will lead us through a dark phase, which is the lunar light cycle of the year, until we reach March, when the spring eclipses occur. And then the spring eclipses do the same through the light phase, which is the solar light cycle of the year. During this 2025 lunar eclipse, the cosmos diverges into the pathways of the kingdom we chose, either Saturn's kingdom or Jupiter's kingdom. The 999 portal hands us the keys so that when the solar eclipse takes place on September 21st, we can lock the door of the past burdens behind us and boldly walk into our next collective chapter of the Age of Aquarius, no holds barred. The strength, wisdom, and perseverance within our four bodies is going to have to be consistently practiced and maintained as these next few months come and go, friends. You can take this as opinion, or you can take this as advice, or you can take none of this at all. You have free will. Regardless, discernment and intuition are the inner heart lights that will be our guide through and to the other side of this stargate when the next spring eclipse season comes out to play. Uranus is now officially retrograde, which will begin to turn our attention inward. And with Chiron's retrograde in Aries, this may bring us to a repeat of past circumstances with people, places, or things that we considered to be dead and gone long ago. So there could be some pretty big surprises along the way. Uranus is the planet of uprisings, surprises, and unexpected events that could easily be perceived as chaos. But chaos is just the unorganized phase of creation coming into fruition. Saturn's retrograde and the last degree of Pisces may bring some pretty big tests to all of us as well, especially in our ability to forgive as hidden events begin to emerge, both within us and in the outside world. The test of forgiveness that may show up is testing our ability to forgive ourselves and each other, proving to the universe how much we have learned about exercising unconditional love and acceptance, which create the foundational building blocks of strength and unity. It is our graduation day, friends, and the cosmos has decided who expands into the next phase of evolutionary transcendental ascension. The diplomas are being handed out. We just have to cross the stage, so to speak, to the other side. The other side is being set for our arrival. So just keep swimming, y'all. Our missions here are not done yet. I know some people find this kind of abstract thinking that goes on in my H-bomb brain frightening or doomsday-ish. And that's one way to look at it, sure. But imagine it this way. Think of it as a skyscraper being imploded for a complete and thorough ground clearing so a whole new type of construction can begin. Maybe, from this viewpoint, you may also see this time of chaos as a shifting bridge that carries us to the next paradigm of the next Earth Age, the Age of Aquarius. If you've made it to this ending of this vloggity podcasty thingy, I thank you so much for your time and your attention, and I hope that it brought you thoughts that can help you as we all move through the next few weeks and months. If you'd like to learn how the planetary alignments affect you personally, I would be happy and honored to help you with a star chart reading. They truly can answer numerous questions to answers you may be seeking, but aren't finding. It was certainly the missing piece to my own personal life's puzzle, especially when it comes to my health. Once I realized how much life below here on Earth plane is affected by the life happening above us, I was given the tools to solve the issues that just never recouped or budged. A star chart reading can do the same thing for you. Just shoot me an email to awareoftheancients@gmail.com. That's awareoftheancients@gmail.com with the words star chart reading in the subject line so I don't overlook it. I'll get back to you as soon as I can about the information I will need and what you'd like to discover about yourself. Sending you all of the loveliest of loves, my beloved Earthbound fam, and the hugest of hugs. Until the next time we meet, live the life you love the God you trust, and don't take it all too seriously. And always remember that you are stars, not standards. Now go shine and have yourselves a joy-filled day.